Question 25 is 20% of 1,800. And you've got to know this fact. 10% of something, all you do is divide by 10. That's what you have to do. So let's go ahead and divide 1,800 by 10. So 1,800 divided by 10 equals. Now this is easy because it ends in a 0 and it's a whole number. All you do is knock off this 0. So your answer is 180. But we want 20% and we know 10% is equal to 180. So if you come here, 10% equals 180. Another 10% would also be another 180. And all we need to do is add these two numbers. So let me do it here. 180 add 180. Again, start from the units column or the ones column. Tens and hundreds. 0 add 0 is 0. 8 add 8 is 16. We put the 6 here and carry the 1 over to the next column. Now we have 1 add 1, which is 2. Add the 1, which we've carried over, which is 3. So 20% of 1,800 is 360. Let me just add, do not write 360%. That would be incorrect and you would lose a mark. You would lose a mark. Question 26 is 15 times 6.1. Now, this has got a decimal and this hasn't. So what I like to do is turn the 6.1 and I need to remove this decimal and I turned it into 61. So that's my first step. So I've turned the 6.1, removed the decimal by one place and turned it into 61. Now we have 15 times 61. And as before, we do 1 times 5, which is 5. 1 times 1, which is 1. Because we're on the next column, we add a helper or a placeholder. So now it's 6 times 5, which is 30. Put the 0 here, carry the 3 over. And remember to add that for the next column. 6 times 1 is 6, plus this 3 is 9. So we go into the third column, 9. Now what we do is we add these two numbers. 5 add 0 is 5. 1 add 0 is 1. And there's nothing there, so it's nothing add 9 is 9. So at the moment we have 915. But what did we do up here? We moved the decimal point up that way. We now need to move a decimal point back to undo that change. So our decimal point at this moment in time is here. So in our minds, we need to move this decimal point back. So the decimal point goes there. This decimal point disappears. And our answer is 91.5. So the way to do this is to remove the decimal point and turn it into a whole number. And that's the easiest way to do it. So you end up with two whole numbers multiplied together. And then what you do is you return or undo the changes, like we did down here. Question 27 is 3/10 take away 1/20. Now if you notice here, the denominators are different. So now we need to find a way of making these two the same, and straight away I can see if I multiply the 10 by 2, I'll get a 20. So let's start here. 3 over 10. I'll multiply the denominator by 2, the bottom number by 2, and whatever I do to the bottom number, I have to do to the top number, or the numerator. So that's my fraction at the moment. 3 times 2 is 6. 10 times 2 is 20. I have created an equivalent fraction. Now my question looks something like this. I know 3/10 is the same as 6/20. So I have 6/20 minus 1/20. And now it's much easier. The denominators, or the bottom numbers, are the same. So we just put 20 at the bottom. And the numerators, or the top numbers, 6 take away 1 is 5. So let's simplify this. I know 5 and 20 are both in the 5 times table, so I'm going to divide the numerator by 5. And whatever I do to the top number, or the numerator, I have to do to the denominator. So I have to divide this by 5. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. 20 divided by 5 is 4. So I can say 3/10 take away 1/20, or 3/10 subtract 1/20 is 1/4.